Good morning. My name is Tammy. Welcome to the Canadian Glove Museum here in Point Leamington, Newfoundland. We opened the museum about 4 years ago now. I think this is our fourth season. Yeah.
What's it like to work in a glove museum and factory?
Oh, it's been very interesting, actually. A lot of us are locals from surrounding communities. However, where do you go to school here in Newfoundland or Canada to make a glove or sleeve to knit? And it's been so interesting to learn the techniques, processes involved in making hand safety, sleeve safety. This is some of the children's activities that we do with the children. We do a little contest, a little test to see who can get the bolts or the nuts out, wearing different types of gloves, either foam, nitrile dipped, or dotted. These are actually a clear dot and a black dot. We have some anti-impact. This one's a cute one. We actually put a wiener in the finger, and we have finger impacts where we hit it with the maul, and it protects your. And the kids are so amazed that you don't squish the wiener, technically our finger. We have our hands, all about hands book for the elementary, primary children. And of course, this is a big seller and a big, they really like to try this on, even try to put it over their heads. So we do have some activities where kids make their own gloves here. They see the knitting processes, and they get to touch and feel what goes into a glove and hear the sounds and see the big machines. It's pretty amazing for our kids, for sure. Over here to our right is a lot about our founder. Our founder is Frank Gang, who came to us from Hungary. And he worked at the leather company in Acton and bought the Acton Glove Company in 1961. So we've been in business since 1961. And these are some of the patents that Frank came up with. He sold, he built, he delivered, he did it all in the beginning. And he had the innovation and mindset to create and to come up with styles, working with so many customers and so many people in the area of what people, companies, businesses, manufacturers needed. So in the beginning, we started with 5 leather styles. So these are, like I said, some of the first designs by Frank. Some of the types of machines or items that he used to dip gloves or to form gloves that he made himself to produce. And like I said, we sold or made about 5 different glove styles here in Newfoundland when we started in 1988. We now make no leather styles. All the leather styles are in other manufacturer companies in the world. And a lot of it is string knit, and we engineer our own yarn for specific manufacturers. But yeah, so we've been here since 1988, and 5 different leather styles. We now make over 3,500 different SKUs. Yeah, so you can see we make some gloves that are fingerless for specific, very detailed, dexterous. This is our new version of our skidoo mitt. This is the old version that we made years ago. The Snow 300 skidoo gloves, and these are new ones that are very common here in Newfoundland, of course, with the removable nose pad. We have a glove here that we make for NASA. SpaceX. Yeah. Has a high cut resistance. We are a company that will modify any style for any customer. If you have one employee that has a missing digit or wears a glove, we are very specific and very customer motivated. So this is like an anti-impact glove to protect our knuckles in close quarters or closed spaces, but we might have a customer to say, hey, I love the glove, but it's starting to wear in the thumb crotch or between the fingers or the fingertips. Well, we can put a piece of leather there. Maybe that'll make it last a little longer. So we do a lot of that as well, specific. This is our groundhog glove. This is for lint-free applications, especially in car, automotive painting. Right here. Our chainsaw glove. We make gloves for many manufacturing companies and different safety attributes. This is a very interesting style, our 361 GTLBB. This is my minus 35 Celsius rating. It looks like a mitt or a finger mitt style. It actually fits like a glove on the inside. So it has the 5 fingers, but it looks like it has 3 fingers. Yeah, very comfortable, very good. Anti-impact and cold rated at minus 35. Wonderful, wonderful style. Fairly new. This one here is for oil. So it has a lot of different pieces of material in the dip for solvents or oil, for grip. And our chemical cryogenic glove. Like I said, we make gloves and sleeves for all types of manufacturing. Yeah, for cold rating, heat rating, absolute arc rating, cut resistance, abrasion resistance, for medical fields as well, for sure. We try to please all manufacturing. These are some of our famous gloves. This one here, our astronaut gloves. These were actually in space. They're from a Russian astronaut that was in space. We were very fortunate to get these. And he actually worked with Chris Hadfield, our Canadian astronaut. Our next one, we couldn't get Roberta Bondar's astronaut gloves, but she's a very avid bird watcher. So those are our bird watching gloves. And Roberta, of course, is our Canadian female astronaut. Yeah. On this side, we have David Suzuki's glove. Yeah, and the story goes he wore these gloves on a fishing vessel one day. He was working with on a fishing vessel, and he actually hooked the pinky finger in something in the net or something, and it actually saved his finger. So, yeah, the story goes. And he has a storybook, and the glove is actually on top of his tree, his coat stand. Probably one of the most infamous pair of gloves we have is Elvis Presley's Army gloves. Yes, very popular. These are Elvis Presley's. His family had a doctor, a nurse live in, and they had children. So the Presley family and the doctor's family's children were outside playing, and he noticed she was wearing kitchen gloves when she came in. Her hands were really cold, and he gave her his Army gloves to wear, and she kept them all these years. So we were very fortunate to get them to put on display. Some of our newest additions, we have a pair of Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe's gloves. Very dainty hands, very special. We actually acquired these from their hairdresser. Yeah, such detail and so small. Over here we have some indigenous gloves and mittens. Our Blackfoot beaded gauntlet style, of course, made with horse's skin, horse hide. Look at the beadwork and the embroidery work from the tribes of Manitoba and Montana. We also have some beaver fur gloves here, again with the gauntlet style, the wider cuff with the thumb and 4 joint fingers. Yeah. These ones here as well, these gloves came from, the tribe is located in the Northwest Territories, Canada. So some of these gloves are on loan, some of them are purchased, some have been donated by family members. But we have people that are constantly researching and looking for styles, for gloves, for anything related to gloves and mittens and sleeves. So there's many here that's been around for 150, 60 years, but you can see how much we've grown and changed. And so these are also very interesting. These are Japanese firefighting gloves. The amazing thing, these are made totally of cotton. So there's layers and layers of woven cotton. It's interesting, you wouldn't put on a pair of cotton gloves now to fight a fire, right? But these actually worked. There are layers and layers of woven cotton, and they were dyed with vegetable dye. And this is a liner that goes into for protection. Yeah. We have some military army styles, very specific. These three. So this one here is a 1939 Royal Air Force gunner's gloves. You can see the Newfoundlanders always think we came up with the finger trigger mitt style, but obviously 1939 they always had the trigger mitt style, right? So you can see the thumb, the finger, and the three fingers for the trigger action, of course. So
Is there a reason why they had the three ones?
I would think it was for comfort. They were using the pointer finger and the thumb more so than anything else, and the other three fingers are holding the machine or the gun. It will be comfort for sure. But as you can tell, there is a lot of detail and specifications that come with making gloves for the military, the Army, the Navy. Very detailed, very specific. And these are our Japanese, World War II Japanese Army mittens. They were made with a thin canvas material, and not so much the trigger mitt, but the thumb and forefinger. This is a liner that we would knit. This is something that we could knit for something that would go into another shell for warmth. Air Force Flyers gloves. You see the little detail in the fingertips. And you can see the leather on the palm for grip. And this machine here would be something that would apply that leather to the palm of the hand. If you come around here, you can see the sheepskin leather being applied to the palm of the glove. Definitely a very different machine for finishing gloves. We have some work gloves, canvas, leather styles from older companies in Ontario. There is cut and sewn material. You see, gloves, like you said, never go out of style, and more so now for all the safety attributes you need in working in many industries. There's many metal companies, there's many high heat companies that use a lot of heat, sharp metals, car manufacturing, so many attributes needed now to wear safety apparel.
So when you receive an order, do you have researchers on site, or how does it work? For specific gloves, for example?
Yes, absolutely. There's a range of what cut level a company or customer needs. If we have a sales rep that calls, listen, I have a customer that needs an ARC 4 glove, then yeah, we have those research, we have those lists there for them. Our sales reps and our customer service definitely know what products to suggest. Many sizes, and like I said, we do many modifications. We'll do a modification with just one employee for one customer under one distribution company or one distributor. So yeah, no, many sizes. We go from sizes extra small to 3 and 4X in some of our safety traffic shirts. Yeah, so many sizes.
Did you ever have things like recalls or something?
Of course, yeah. There's some recalls of something that didn't fit well, something we need to modify. For sure, sometimes the yarn is not always up to par or needs to be audited, or for sure, sometimes there's recalls.
Can you recycle them?
Yes. We have recycled some materials. Some materials we do recycle, and we have that in-house. We actually use a lot of polys that are recycled here now. Yeah, absolutely. And we use recycled Kevlar as well. Kevlar that is used in many cut-resistant styles, and even in bulletproof vest. Yeah, for sure. We have used recycled Kevlar.
So you have fireproof and bulletproof?
For sure, yeah. We've used materials like tungsten steel, basalt, which is lava rock. Fiberglass goes into many styles. Fiberglass goes in many styles for cut resistance and abrasion. And we use a product called ultra-high molecular polyethylene, which is 10 times stronger than steel. So yeah, for sure. We use many different kinds of products, depending on what our customer requires and needs. So these are some of our sports memorabilia. Obviously the hockey gloves, the very old hockey gloves. We've come a long way. These are so heavy and was filled with some kind of straw and grass for padding. The leather is quite worn. And this is an Ed Fitzgerald's catcher's mitt from 1948 when he played with the Pirates. It's very old, it's not very dexterous now compared to our gloves that we wear today. These are just some of the glove makers' specs and encyclopedia, some of the terminology that was used years and years, over 100 years ago. These are very interesting. Again, a new addition to our museum, Victorian child's kids' leather gloves. Look at the detail and the size of those. Aren't they just adorable? Can you imagine? Look at these tiny little things. I think this is like 3.5, 4 inches. Tiny, tiny gloves with a little clasp. You know, tiny babies wearing these gloves. Such an era. However, you know, it's so sweet. Same with these gloves on the left. These are our lady's gloves that we just got donated from her family. And her mom was a very... Her mom, after college, became a very businesswoman, and she was so proud, and she used to always buy gloves to make her, you know, to be very businesslike. And these were many styles that they donated to the museum, and we're so proud to display them for her. So you can just look how small and detailed these gloves are. And these ladies wore these, even though she said she was a smoker, but this is something you wore all the time.
They have no stains.
They have no stains. They're beautiful, aren't they? They were really well taken care of. Very well taken care of. These are some of the forms that Frank used in the beginning. We have a lot of styles that will knit the shells here, and they'll go to Acton or another place to be dipped or dotted. And these are some of the first forms that Frank made himself, the founder of the company, to have them finished elsewhere. They're very, but worked, right? Anything to move production through. And these are some of our newer forms now that are more smooth, more uniformed. On this side, we have some of the yarns. We've actually made gloves that have 25 ends of steel in the gloves. Yeah. And what we do, we'll knit this with a yarn that disappears in the laundry. It disappears like magic. It's a cute trick for the kids. So, because you can imagine knitting all steel on glove knitting machines, you know, it causes a lot of maintenance and stuff, but it causes a lot of maintenance and upkeep on the machines. However, this is some of the steel that we knit with. This is basalt. This is the lava rock that we make, and lava rock gives it cut resistance. Made from lava rock, called basalt.
So would this be a typical sewing machine or no?
Yes, to knit this glove?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a regular, yeah, glove knitting machine. These are some of the steel. This is a tungsten steel. This is what we call tungsten steel. Let me see if I can pull that off for you. It is very fine, like hair. Very hard to see. Can you actually see that? Sometimes you can only feel it. So you can imagine threading this through some of our processing machines out there. It is very detailed, very time consuming to get this to set up. Some of our product has 3 ends of this in the glove. Very good again for cut resistance. And this is the ultra high molecular polyethylene that we use in some of our product. And this is the one that's 10 times stronger than steel. And when we say it's like 420 denier, and it has probably 200 filaments, that means there's 200 ends of yarn in that one. 200 strands. It's many strands. When we say 200 filament, 120 filament, 400 filament, that means how many strands? Yeah. So some of our yarn is twisted. So you can tell there's a multi-process yarn here. We have steel, we have Kevlar, we have poly, We have monocrylic. Some of our yarns are twisted. Some of them are called air jet texturized, where we pump them up full of water and air, high pressure. Some of them are wrapped. We're wrapping a core yarn, depending on what our customers require. And a customer can call us and ask us for a specific glove and say, can you make us an 18 gauge glove for this job, or I need it to be a cut 9, or, abrasion at least a 5, and so we'll come up with a recipe then specific for that customer, for sure. These are some of our, I don't want to say museum people, but they still work with us. They still work with us. This is Fraser. Fraser's been our manager for over 40 years. 40 years. We started here in Point Leamington in '88. And I said we started with 5 leather styles, and they actually were working out of their garage or their shed and in the town hall. And then they bought this building and we moved over here. And we started making machines. So yeah, Madonna and Fraser and Linda, many of them have been here over 35 years. Really tells the tale of how great a company to work for and how awesome it is. So we've gained some knowledge over 35, 40 years, correct? Yeah, so where else to have a museum? Why not? We've been in the business for so long, we know what we're talking about. We're open from 9 to 3 here in the museum, all year round, Monday to Friday in the winter months. I'm thinking 7 days a week in the summer months. As for the plant, the production plant, we have 3 shifts. We're open 24 hours, 5 days a week. Yeah. We are actually on Facebook. We're TripAdvisor, Instagram, and you can call the plant here in Point Leamington, 709-484-3596. And we're also on Amazon, Superior Glove Works. We'll pop up wherever you put us in. Yeah.
Do you have a shop on site?
Yeah, we have a little gift shop. We do, right here. We do sell our museum shirts. And these are some of the styles that we sell here. Our chainsaw, it's a very common one here in Newfoundland. It's a rag wool style. Some of our dotted style, string knit with nylon or poly. We do have some dip styles here, really good for grip. This is our newest 21 gauge. We were the first company to come up with a cut 9 21 gauge glove years after our 18 gauge. And when I say 18 and 21 gauge, that means that's how many needles it takes to knit an inch of glove. So you can see the 21 gauge is very fine knit, whereas a 7 or 10 gauge is a little bit looser knit. It's a little bit bigger. But definitely some leather styles, some string knit styles. And we're the only company in Canada who engineers our own yarn and knit them in product. So this is our oven knit, it's our boa glove, fleece line, leather style, and some of our fishermen's glove too. Yeah, many things.
And you ship internationally?
Absolutely. When I started here 13 years ago, we were 2 manufacturing, 2 companies. Our home company is in Acton. Actually, there was 3 of us now today, and there was about 250 employees. Today we have 9 facilities and over 1,000 employees all over the world. We just opened our last dip line and knitting manufacturing site in North Carolina, High Point, North Carolina, and we have distribution in Shreveport. We have manufacturing plants in Honduras. We're in Buffalo. We have another company here in Newfoundland in Springdale that manufactures as well. Yeah, so we definitely deliver all over the world. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope I gave you everything you need at the museum. It is definitely something a must-see. And like I said, it's free. It's welcome for anyone. Children, old, anyone by any age, you're very welcome to come. Like I said, you can call us. You can find us on Facebook, the Canadian Glove Museum, or Superior Glove Works. Please come out and it's a wonderful family affair as well. And you can have a little tour of the plant as well if you like. But where else are you going to find the Canadian Glove Museum except here in Point Leamington, Newfoundland?